What's up, y'all? You're watching Brooklyn Shuffleboard, and we are out here on a Wednesday evening for the grand finals of our winter tournament double elimination that we've been doing. Finals matchup is between me, Jeff, versus Paul. I won the winner's bracket. Paul won the loser's bracket. So we have a 16-frame game here. If Paul wins, we get to play again because I'll only have one loss. And if I win, it's all over, baby, and I will have won the tournament. We're about to start up our practice shots, and joining you for commentary and talking a little bit about some shuffleboard strategy is the #1 female shuffleboard player in the world, Missy Keiko of the Golden Tangs. She's going to walk you through sort of like our shot selection, what we're thinking about, and it should be a great match. So thanks so much. Root for me for everyone at home, and here's Missy.
What's up? What's up, everybody? We're going to get started in just a moment right now. Paul and Jeff are going to get started with their warm-up shots. So my name is Missy. You may have seen me on the Missy vs. Steve match. I won on that match. It was a crazy game. If you haven't watched it, please take a look at that match. As Jeff mentioned, I'm the current top-ranked female international shuffleboard player. I played in Ingersoll, the International Shuffleboard Association national tournament, and my team, it was a team format, so my team, Team Blue, won the gold. And after all was said and done, I was the top-ranked female player of that year. This year, we will be playing and applying to play in Florida. It's coming up in October, so if you're interested in applying, you should go to the ISA website and look at the application and apply. The deadline's coming April 15th. So let's take a look at what's happening here, though. As you can see, Paul was just looking at the discs. He picked them up to make sure to check at the bottoms to see what they look like. Right now, he's also kind of spreading them around. A lot of us do that to see how the discs are handling, if there's any cracks at the bottom. We're generally looking for any irregular I can't talk today. Anything that's irregular to, make sure it's not going to be faster or slower than the other discs. So Jeff's going to warm up, take his shots. Jeff generally starts out his shots doing Tampa, same, and 2 cross-court 8s. So we'll see what he heads for now. I think that first one was the Tampa, going for a 10. Look at how it slid off of the 10 and started to curve out from the line. That's generally what you're looking for here, is where does it go after it leaves the spot. That was a cross-court 8. And this one will probably also be a cross-court 8. Jeff also loves to play from the outside. He does it for a number of reasons. And part of it, so he's taking shots from the 4 spot. And a lot of players don't do that. Jeff actually is unique in that way, where he's constantly shooting from the 4 spot. Paul's warming up. As you see, he's checking the discs, kind of seeing how they move as he moves them around. I don't know if you can also see, Jeff is also writing down the drift on a drift chart. If you haven't heard of a drift chart, basically it's a piece of paper that people use to mark down where the disc headed in the direction of where they think. A lot of people do it in different ways. Jeff has a court and he does it per spot and he tracks it that way. Some people just do lines that are curvy. There's all sorts of ways you can track your drift chart, but that's the piece of paper you might see Jeff referring to. It looks like Paul's doing some cross-court warm-ups. Ooh, it looks like he's already testing for maybe some speed for kitchening. He's getting ready to test out the speed of the biscuits, which is interesting. Everybody has different warm-ups. We only get four discs here, so we really have to use them to our advantage. As you can see, it looks like, yeah, he's testing for kitchen speed. So Jeff's got to watch out because Paul's already warming up to do kitchen shots, which most likely means he's going to go for it right out of the gate. I know that's something, something that I do when I'm warming up is I will watch the player next to me and see where they take their shot from and what shots they're warming up with. If you notice that Paul is going for, say you're playing against Paul and you notice he's going to test the kitchen shot, he's probably going to go for it very quickly. So you might not want to give them anything to kitchen. Jeff's checking the 10. He's checking the whole court. Maybe you want to go to somewhere that he hasn't shot yet, and he might miss it. And, these players are good, so they're going to figure out the court as they play, but those first couple frames, you can use that to your advantage. You can see how the discs are kind of all pooling to the left. There's some drift on this yellow left side. It really does curve all the way towards the column, so sometimes it's a tough side to play on because you really just can't get it over to the right. All right, so it looks like Paul's been going for the 8-7s to warm up and then kind of knock and replace kitchen. Let's see if he's still going for that. Inside, outside. Yeah, he's like pretty close to the kitchen, so it looks like that's his warm up. Inside, shoot for an 8. He's probably testing for that side of the court speed, and then it seems like go for the kitchen. That one went a little fast. There might have been a drift there, or that biscuit itself is a little faster than the rest, so he could watch out for that, or just remember that path was specifically a little fast. So he just shot for the 10. I will say that's a pro move. Sometimes you need to know where that 10's going because you have to make that shot to get a really important point, or someone might go for a 10 and you need to replace it. If you don't know the drift, you're going to miss it. All right, here they go. They're going to get started. Jeff is playing yellow. Paul is playing black. 16 frames. This is frame 1. Jeff sets up a St. Pete. It looks like Paul was maybe trying to clear that, but he stuck it. It looks like Jeff's lining up to try to hide it. What he's doing is looking to see where Paul could not be able to see and hit that point. Here he goes. Let's see if he makes it. All right, that's looking pretty good. That's pretty good. It's pretty hidden. There's a little bit to it, but we'll see what Paul can do. There's a drift here, so it's going to be a little hard for Paul to get that. But what I like to do in this situation, because he's got 3 more biscuits to shoot, I think I'm going to aim for that to clear it. Oh, wow, he just cleared it out. What I like to do is, aim for the other biscuit, but then if it clears the block, that's great because then I'll just go for it again. Some players like to do what Paul did where they try to hit it straight on and clear it out that way, but it leaves Jeff the block to still go behind. So he's lining up again to go for this point behind the block. And he got it. So he got it again, but it is showing a little bit. So this time it looks like Paul has a little bit more. He's able to see it, so it looks like he's trying to line up to clear it. So that's kind of what I'm talking about when I said sometimes you aim for it and you go to clear out the front if one happens or the other. He might have just been trying to clear that, but sometimes I like to try both. But then if, I cleared the other one, it leaves that for Jeff to hide behind. So maybe Paul wanted to clear that out knowing his last shot. At least he could get ahead of it. So it looks like Jeff was trying to block it up. It's not a perfect block. Paul's coming down to look at it for that reason to see what can I do with this here. Do I have room to replace it? Is it worth trying to replace it? Do I want to clear it? Or do I just want to go for a point on the other side? It does look like Paul's going for it, but let's see what he's thinking. He might try to roll. He might try to hit it, roll. He might try to hit it and kitchen it. But it might be difficult to get that point and do something with Jeff's besides clear or kitchen it. And if he doesn't hit it hard enough, it could still end up in a point. Oh, it looks like he was going for the kitchen. It does look like it's in from here. Yes, that's a good 7. So to tell you a little bit about these players, they're both fantastic players. Jeff plays for the Golden Tangs, my team, and he is a phenomenal player. He's been our captain since the beginning. He also... I'm just watching them play, so I'll tell you a little bit more about each player as they play. So, Paul's getting started. Let's see what he does. Does the same peat block. All right, Jeff's lining up. It looks like he's probably going to clear this. Oh my gosh, are you watching this happening right now? I think, did that hit I think it hit the column and bounced in, so they're going to clear that, but that was crazy looking. Sometimes that happens though. Your biscuit here will fly off, like it'll hop over a biscuit and then still stay on the court, wobble down and just stay there. It's the craziest thing we see sometimes. You never know what'll happen. Nice clear. Nice clear from Jeff. What's interesting, for the longest time, Paul has been, we have played with him for a long time, Jeff and I, and, for a while he was sticking to a standard of, put up block, block, hammer. But, he's been playing a little bit more aggressive in the past couple seasons, so it's interesting to watch him play, especially against Jeff, because he's doing a mix of that. He put up some blocks, but now he's putting up what looked like maybe kind of a St. Pete hide. But let's see what Jeff does here. So Jeff cleared it. He just wants to leave it since it's his hammer. He wants to leave nothing on the board. So this is interesting. Let's see where Paul goes. He was maybe aiming for the top of the 10, but either way, this is a great block. This court is drifty. Jeff's still got to really think hard about this shot because sometimes you're aiming at the line just to score on the left side. And with this court, that's probably what he's doing. So he's aiming right at Paul's to know it's going to drift. So that's why he's probably moving to the outside, knowing if he probably started from the inside, it might hit his. He's going back and forth. It's a tough decision. You start from the outside, you might not make it in. Let's see what he does. Oh, he's going for the right side. Interesting. Hit the line. As we like to say, who put that line there? Who decided that? So that's too bad, but Jeff's got a lot of time. It's only the second frame in the game. 0-7. So as I was mentioning, Jeff is, been playing for a long time. He's the only player at the Palms to have won a national singles tournament, winning in Ohio in 2021. We have had Palms players win the doubles tournament that was held in Chicago this past year, so that was very exciting. And after this frame, I'll tell you a little bit more about Paul and Paul's accomplishments. All right, so Paul put up a block. It's very fascinating because some of these games we'll watch Paul play and he's going on the board. So when he's playing Jeff, it looks like or at least today, he's throwing up some blocks, playing a little more conservatively in the beginning. Personally, interesting. Blocks, it's not always all the way in the middle, but this drift is so crazy that Jeff, it's kind of tough to hide behind that, so he's probably going to clear it out. But early on in the game, some of the strategy is to adjust your risk. Oh, and he missed that. It bounced back, so they got to clear it out. It looked like Jeff was trying to clear that out, and he missed it. It happens to the best of us. This court's a little crazy. Yes, it drifts a lot towards the columns, but there are these little streams where if you go one spot, it'll drift to the left or the right, and that's probably what happened there. So Paul's lining up. He looks like he's going to hide behind it. Oh, that looked close. So he cleared it out. Jeff's probably going to think about trying to hide behind this because he's been doing it that last frame where he was hiding behind all those hides. But it's a little bit of a harder hide than what he had. He had a nice St. Pete. This one's a little bit more tucked over. On our courts, these are a little bit harder of a hide, so he decided to clear it. You can tell he was tempted, though. He did the head shake. Should I? I don't know. I'll just clear it. Because it's his hammer, and he just wants to score a point here, especially because it's 0-7. And he just had he lost his other hammer, so he really needs to make this shot. All right, Paul blocked the top of the 10 again. Here's Jeff. He's probably going to go on the right side, but that's where it looks like he's aiming. I'm not sure what's happening here. It looks like some discs got mixed up. And, yes, they're going to be protective of their discs because they're playing an important game. So they want to, if you got another disc from the other side and then all of a sudden that one's slow, that would be really tough on the game. Here he goes for the shot. Let's see if he makes it. Ah, that's beautiful. Beautiful 7. As I like to say, he scored his hammy. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about Paul. Paul's a fantastic player. He is on the team Ting, Walla, Walla, Bing, Bang. And he was a finalist in Thanksgiving, Singles League, and Mirror Lake. And recently was second place in Mirror Lake in St. Pete, and he won Mirror Lake in 2022. So a really fantastic player. All right, so Jeff put up a block. Now, the next two frames are Paul's hammer, so it looked like he was trying to clear that out, but it kind of, it might be a little slow today. It's stuck there. So it's kind of tough when that's happening. All right, Jeff looked like he was trying to clear it. He left a little bit of a block for himself, but like I said, it's kind of hard to hide behind that. So it's not the greatest. But it looks like Paul might be trying to clear this out. Let's see. So he cleared that out. There's nothing on the board right now. All right, Jeff goes for another St. Pete. And it looks like Paul's going to clear this, but, I can't tell. It looks like he might be going to the left side just to go on the board. And he did, yeah. So that's a high 7. This is a little bit of the play that I'm talking about. Some players would just, clear out that yellow, but he made that 7, so now Jeff has to go for it. And if he sticks it, he leaves something for Paul to play with. So Jeff might try to hit this and try to roll to the right. That would be ideal, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, he left it, but I don't think that's in. It looks like it's on the line. No, that's not in. But do you see how Paul's walking down? He wants to see what he has to play with. Can I play with that? Can I hit it and stick and kitchen it? What can I do here? He's thinking about all the options. Recently Jeff said to me, it seems like Paul likes to go, how can I get 2 shots out of this? And, he's going for the right, and he gets it. Good 8. That's a good 8. But sometimes, when Paul's playing, he'll try to get 2 scores out of a frame, which is fairly aggressive play. But a lot of times when we watch him play, he tends to get it. All right, so we're now on frame 5. This is the point of the game where you think about how many frames you have left and you think, where am I at in the score? Right now it's 7-15, 7 Jeff, 15 Paul. But you're thinking if you're down more, you'd want to be a bit more aggressive here. But you still have a lot of time left, and we have 12 more frames, so you got some time to make up points if you were down here. But the points are fairly close here, so both of them are going for, Jeff put up a block. He's playing a fairly still conservative game. I'm going to put up blocks, hope Paul messes up, and take advantage. All right, Paul's lining up. It looks like he's just trying to clear this out. It's interesting though. It was a little slow, so I think he was trying to roll that over, and it stuck in the middle. So Jeff's thinking about, should I play with this? It's not a. It's up to the player. So he's checking out his drift chart. He's thinking, can I score behind this? If you score behind this, Paul could easily just score on the other side, and then you got 2 points and play that game. It really comes down to what they're thinking. So Jeff's going for that hide. Does he make it? And it looks like he did. I can't tell. I'm taking a look. It's in. It's good. That's a good 8. I can't tell from here, but Paul could probably see that. With the drift, it's a little tough, so it's a little risky shot, but I think he might try to clear that out. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, wow. I'm not sure if that's in. It looks good. From here, I can't tell. But you see how he was going for that kitchen? If he would have got that kitchen, that would have been, as Jeff likes to say, nasty. But, he went for it. It still created chaos for Jeff. I think the best thing probably for him to do here is block up the other side so Paul can't make a point. But, he's thinking about it. He's looking at all the options. That's what you have to do here. You think, what can I do? Can I hide? Yeah, he's taking a look. I personally, it's really tough. It's 7-15. I think I just block up the other side, but it looks like Jeff's trying to play with it a little bit. Oh, there's... The table was in the way. I was going to say that kitchen wasn't there. I was going to say I didn't remember that happening. That person probably moved it over. But I was very confused for a moment. I was like, I don't remember Jeff having a kitchen. But here we go. So I'm not sure what Jeff was doing there. It looked like he blocked it up. Maybe so Paul couldn't kitchen him also. That's what I was worried about. But Paul's going to go for the hammer. And it hits the line. So no good. Yeah, so there was a lot going on there. The people next to us, being kind, brought the biscuit over, but they put it in the -10. But it was not in. So Jeff moved it, and also it looked like Jeff was, he was blocking that out. So maybe Paul couldn't try to kitchen him and also score a point. I think that's what he was hiding, or what he blocked. So yeah, it's 0 points on that frame. It's still 15 Paul, 7 Jeff. And Paul's up first. So Jeff now has to hammer for 2 frames in a row. Yeah, interesting. So, Paul's going for these first shots. He's putting up a block. He's sticking to the basics, and this court's kind of crazy. So it's actually might be where people might make a mistake, and you can take advantage of it. All right, now he's going. It looks like he's saying, okay. So he set up a Tampa. Let's see what Jeff does here. He's down, so it looks like he's clearing it out. And as you can see, just playing a lot from the 4 spot. It's pretty interesting because this court's pretty drifty. So to always play from the outside when it's drifty, it's just an interesting take. I think he's so comfortable with these courts that he knows them so well that he can do that. But even at, in St. Pete, anywhere else, he still loves to play from the outside. So Jeff left that. He replaced it. So Paul's going to try to hide behind it. He's taking a look. That's what he's doing here. Where can I place it so Jeff can't get to it? That's what people are doing when they're trying to take those glances. And, as a new player, don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel like you don't have the space to take that time to take a look. It's your time to get behind that and take a look. So he hit that. This court's drifty, so it makes sense. Jeff's lining up here. Something interesting he could do here is try to bump that in. But let's see what he does. No, he cleared it out. I think I would have tried to bump that in. So interesting. I'm not playing. I don't know the court. I don't know how fast it is, what's going on. But it is his hammer, so I think he's probably thinking, I'm going to clear it off and make my hammer. Let's see. Oh, is that in? So it looked like Paul was going for a high 8. Sometimes... let's see. Not good. So sometimes a lot of us will go for that. You go for the high 8, but it might end up in that corner of the 10. Those are tricky spots to hit anyways, but sometimes people are so good they'll just not going to replace it and then score a 10. So it can be very risky. So Jeff's shooting from the outside. I have a feeling he's going to go on the right cross court. Let's see what he does. It's looking a little slow, but it's perfect. Perfect 8. Nice. So we have now, they got 2 more frames left in this set before they switch sides. It's now 15-15. They're even, it's tied, so they both know they got to score some points to win. Obviously, but let's see what they do here, because now they're getting towards the halfway mark and they might want to get a little more aggressive, but I think when they switch sides we'll probably start to see some interesting play. Alright, so let's see what Jeff's doing. He's probably going to clear this. Let's see. Yeah, cleared it. Good clear. I know if I'm at 15-15 here, I'm thinking, obviously I need to just keep playing and score my hammers and hope, one, that they don't score their hammers and don't score points, and I just keep going up. But I think the halfway mark, that's, you're going to see when you switch sides, because I actually think that the yellow side's harder. So you kind of, when you're on black, you want to kind of rack up the points. So it's kind of tied. It's just interesting. Knowing this court, that the advantage is a little bit on black, but it's a tough court in general, so, it really just depends on the day and what's going on. All right, so Paul's trying to keep it in the 10. That's what it looked like. Oh, he was trying to kitchen that. That was definitely kitchen speed. So Paul's playing a little bit more with the kitchen. You can see Jeff shaking his head. He knows. He knows what Paul was doing. So he's clearing it out. He's not giving Paul anything to play with. You know, some of those players, when they go for kitchens, you can just tell and you go, nope, I'm not giving you that anymore. No, thank you. It really can change the game at 10 point, you know, but you can still climb back in there, but it can be very, very tough if you get a negative 10. All right, so Paul puts it up. So, yeah, he has a 10 right now, and this is where that warm-up shot comes into play, which Jeff did go for it here, so he probably has it in his drift chart. The drift on the 10, and he should be able to stick this and maybe kitchen it. But knowing Jeff, at this point, he really just wants to nail that 10. So he's checking it out. He took a look at his drift chart. He's thinking about the drift. This is not an easy shot, but he's going to go for it. And the other thing here, too, is, you know, you want to hit it and get the 10, but you also want to make sure to clear out the other biscuit out of it because you might end up scoring for both. All right, so, yeah, he didn't make it. And that's what Paul was hoping for, you know, that Jeff messes up and then he just doesn't get a point. Or, you know, hits the 10 but then leaves in his point. That can happen, too. So right now it's 15-15. We have one more frame. And Paul has the hammer here. So, and then once that happens, they will switch sides. Jeff will be black. Paul will be yellow. And they'll get 8 more frames. All right, here we go. All right, Jeff put up a block. Let's see if Paul decides to clear it or, you know, looks like he's going to clear it. All right, so he did that slow clear again, and that was intentional. He was trying to drift to the left, either as something to hide behind or he scored that 10. That wasn't, you know, that was on purpose. All right, so Jeff cleared it out. That one seemed like a full clear, but it stayed. Let's see if Paul wants to get rid of that, because Jeff could hide behind that. He might just do the same thing again, do the slow clear. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Because sometimes that might end up as it drifted right past the high 8. He might end up with another point. You know, you have to be a good player to be able to do that and practice it, but that's what he was going for. So Jeff's going for another block, which is interesting. He's just hoping here that Paul will mess up this time. Maybe he'll drift and he'll still just block up the other side, and then Jeff just blocks up the other side. Yeah, I did the slow clear again, but this time, oh, I can't see. Oh my gosh, that's in the kitchen. So that's a risk that you're taking. He did a slow clear, and at the wrong angle, it can go right in the kitchen. So, you know, all the other ones he's done has worked out for him, but that one straight in the kitchen, and it's even kind of blocked. So Jeff's gonna block it up even more, I assume, or he's gonna score on the right side and hope that Paul can't do both. So let's see. His options here are to score, you know, block up so Paul can't get to that negative 10 and maybe even score a point while doing it, or to score on the right side. Let's see what he chooses. So yeah, he went for the block. He didn't score a point, but that negative 10, you know, those are tough. I find them, they're just kind of mentally like hard. Yes, it's 10 points, but there's something about a negative 10 that you're just like, oh, I don't want that. It just can derail the mental game. So he's going to go for a point on the So if he scores it, it's only going to be -2 or -3. Oh, he's going for the 10. Let's see if he gets it. Oh, oh, you can tell he wanted that. Oh, that was so close. It looked so good, but yeah, that 10's not in. So -10. So the score leading into the second half of the game is 15-5. 15 Jeff, 5 Paul. So what they're going to do now, they're going to switch sides, maybe take a little break, and maybe not take a little break, but switch sides, switch colors. You can already see Paul's going in, testing out those biscuits. Jeff's getting out his handy-dandy drift chart, probably to mark it up. This has been a really interesting game so far. What I've seen Paul been playing recently, he's playing a slightly more conservative, but maybe because he knows he's playing against Jeff, who plays that game. Sometimes players adjust to who they're playing and knowing how they play. Jeff's a fantastic player where if you mess up, he'll take advantage of it and score behind it. Like you've been seeing him do. So yeah, they're just going in. They're doing their warm-up shots already. So it looks like Paul's doing the inside. So it's the inside warm-up, kind of 8-7 shot, and then from the outside try to hit and then kitchen it. And you can see him doing it here. He's going down the other side, trying to score an 8 from the inside, from the one spot, and then from the outside trying to kitchen and stick it. And you can see he was aiming for it, knowing the drift a little bit, but it still didn't hit it. And that just shows how crazy the drift is here. We play on these courts, but it's still, the drift can be very surprising. Yeah, you can see Jeff's checking out all those biscuits. Yeah, we just, the biscuits at the Palms here, they get a little beat up. We get parties here. Some people, they hit those beams on the left side, as you've seen it been happening. It's like they're just getting all knocked around, and sometimes there'll be like, it looks like someone took a bite out of it, and that'll slow down your biscuit or make it faster if it's lighter. All right, so Jeff's being a very good Palms member right now. He's chatting. He's probably telling them about, oh, yes, we're filming for the Brooklyn Shuffleboard channel, and I started this shuffleboard channel, and you should, and then after all of this conversation, I'll say, you should join the league, because that's what we do every time we're at the Palms. Anytime we talk to anybody who's interested in shuffleboard, we ask them to join the league. Because we're just here to spread the love of shuffleboard. We all love it here, and we want everybody to join the league and become obsessed with shuffleboard just like we are. So let's see. That was probably supposed to be a St. Pete, which is interesting. He's probably surprised it's a little faster than he thought. But let's see what he does here. Cross court. It looks like he's lining up for cross court. Oh, interesting. So yeah, sometimes you switch up your warm-up shots depending, so. Now he's doing cross court. And then, yeah, so Jeff's, he's got a little bit of the advantage here in the sense of where the court drifts. So I say that because it's all drifting towards the column, so if there was anything up front where he could hide behind, he could he could drift that right in to hide behind it. That's why there's an advantage. And the disadvantage of the yellow is that it's harder to hide behind things on the right side. So because there's that big curve. If you're a newer player to shuffleboard, you might not recognize the drift on a court because you're thinking, oh, I just messed up shooting. But really there's parts of the courts that move. If you were to be shooting straight at the 8 and it went all the way to the left, like a couple, inches, it's not you, it's the court. So Paul's warming up his normal inside-outside. All right, and it looks like he's getting that kitchen down, so Jeff's got to watch out. These kitchen players, if they get any chance, they'll go for it. And they might even go for a St. Pete kitchen. So you got to be careful. Sometimes when that happens, I'll start, depending on the player, I'll start putting my blocks up really high because I'm like, I know what you're doing, and I still want to play the game, but I don't want you to kitchen me, so I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a higher block. So Jeff's writing down on his drift card. You can see him holding it behind his back, which is an interesting choice. Yeah, these warm-up shots are so important. They make the difference on playing. You need to understand the court to play the game well. And when you're walking back and forth, sometimes that drift card helps because you can't always remember. I know when I'm playing on one side, I don't need a drift card, but if I'm walking back and forth, sometimes it's preferred because your mind's everywhere on the game. The last thing you want to do, you just don't want to be recalling, like, was that drifting to the left? I don't know, because that's the difference between making the shot or not, so why not just have a piece of paper with the information on it? It's allowed. It's okay. You're allowed to have it. All right, here we go. This is frame 9. So ball's going on the board. When you switch colors like this, everybody's new to it. New meaning, they were just playing on the opposite color. So it is a smart tactic to go on the board immediately because, Jeff might miss this if he didn't interpret the drift correctly. Let's see. So he stuck it. It drifted over. There's a 7 there, but guess what Paul's going to do? He's probably going to try to hit this and kitchen it, which is what he wanted. Or, one of the options that he wanted. There's a couple options that could have gone there. Let's see if he makes it. Oh no! All right, so he didn't hit it. He nudged Jeff's 7s, but the yellow biscuit is not in the kitchen. But that was looking good. So yeah, he definitely was going for the hit and kitchen, but because of the drifted a little bit too far and just went past it. But honestly, that was probably perfect speed to kitchen him. So if Jeff doesn't block this up well, then he's leaving something for Paul to try to kitchen again. So it looks like Jeff's trying to block it up. Let's see how he does. Yeah, that looks good. So he's got 2 points right now, and those are pretty great. That's pretty great block. So if I was Paul, I'm probably going to try to knock and replace this and try to knock out the one behind it. So I leave an 8 and just clear out the other 2. Oh, wow. It looks like we got 3. So we got an 8, a 7, and a -10. That's also what you can try for there. So we got 3. We got a yellow 8, 7, and a -10. It's Jeff's hammer, so, it's interesting here. I'm not sure what I'd want to do here because you can't really get to that -10. You might want to just try and knock and replace that yellow and get another point on the board because it's kind of acting as a block to the other 7 you have, but I don't know. Yeah, I think I would just try to knock that yellow out and try to keep a point on the board. So it's then 15-10, and then Paul's going to try to mess with it again, but at least you have the last shot. But yeah, this is an example of Paul as a player. So this is a little bit more of, wow. So he knocked that out. It kind of looked slow, so it looked like it might go in the kitchen, but it was a little too fast. So this is a little scary for Jeff. Paul has the opportunity to knock and also kitchen the 7. And if he gets it, it's pretty crazy. Let's see. It's a little slow. Yeah, he ended up in the line. So right now Jeff's got he's down -3. I think it's probably easier for him to just score on the right side. Assuming he felt comfortable with his warm-ups to score on that side. That's the risk here too, but you're not going to get to that -10. There's too much going on. So he's going to go for a point on the other side. Yeah, that looks like a good 8. Good 8. So that's all 3. We got, that'll be plus 5. So I'm guessing it's 25. Jeff is up 15. That was a valiant effort by Paul to try to get some points off hammer. But now it's Paul's hammer 2 in a row. So let's see what happens, because 15 points, you still have time to make up for that. But he's going to be hungry to get some points on board, probably double it up. All right, Jeff's going safe. He's doing the St. Pete. At a certain point, you get to where you have so many points that you just want to protect your points. So sometimes if you get like 25 points up, you might even want to throw it off the board. It just depends on the situation and how many frames you have left. But right now, Jeff is blocking it up and hoping he can, Paul will mess up. Keep in mind, this is only the second frame. They haven't played on the side yet. So, if Paul didn't interpret the drift correct, he could mess up. Yeah, anything Jeff puts on the board, Paul's probably going to try to kitchen. So that's why he's playing it safe and just doing some blocks. Knowing, we'll see what he does after this in that second to last shot. But, Paul's gone into kitchen some things. So he's going on the board, yeah. Yeah, perfect 7. It's beautiful. Jeff's got a... if he were to stick it, he's leaving Paul something to play with, basically replace in kitchen. There's enough room for that. It's a little too risky to roll it onto the other side. It's a little too deep. If you just clear it off, it just gives Paul the right side. So let's see what he does here. So he just knocked that out. He's leaving Paul. He's got to make that hammer again. Yes, he just made it, but can he do it again? And it looks good. Got a little close to that line, but it looks good. So now it's 13-20. Jeff with 20, Paul with 13. That's what Paul wanted. You have time, you make your hammer. If he makes his next hammer, let's say he just gets a 7, they're tied. And they still have, 5 frames. So sometimes when you have those hammers, you got to think, how many frames do I have left? How many points can I make? I know a lot of us players who have been playing a while, we're constantly thinking about that. How many frames do I have left and how many points can I make? If they mess up their hammers, can I win? That's what we're thinking about when we're playing. And depending on the point differential is when you increase or decrease risk. So if you're down, you're going for risky stuff. You're trying to double up points. You're trying to kitchen things. You're trying to do kitchen bait. So Paul went on the board. Probably just to get some gameplay, because Paul likes to play that way lately. And it might be hard to clear with the yellow, so Jeff's clearing it out. Let's see what Paul does here. It looks like he's going on the board again. Going on the board again. One, what is nice about this is One, he knows Jeff's not really trying to play the kitchen game right now because he's up. Another player might just try to kitchen this. But Jeff's probably just going to clear it. And Paul's maybe, planning on that. So Jeff cleared it, but it stayed on the board. It's not the greatest to kitchen, but he still might try to go for it. And it looks like he is. I think he's going to try to kitchen this. Oh, no. He's going for a point. That probably came down to the biscuit there. That one probably a little bit slower. He shot it just the same. So that's something to remember. If you shoot like that and you've been shooting consistent and then one shows up short, remember that for the next frame. You still have 5 more frames to play with that yellow biscuit, and it came up a little slow. All right, so just thinking he's he wants to stop Paul from scoring here. He could try to hide, but Paul could just bump that one in. It looks like he's trying to hide behind that block, so let's see what he does. Ooh, it's looking good. Oh, that's beautiful. I need to come up with my own tagline. Jeff has nasty. I got to figure out what works for me. But that was beautiful. That was a really beautiful hide. It's really hard, and he executed it beautifully. All right, so Paul might depend on the drift here to knock it out. Let's see what happens. That hit the line. That's rough. You don't want that. So that's too bad because now it's 13-27. Yeah, so that's a tough point difference knowing that was your hammer. You were trying to make up points. Like I said, he could have tied it up there. He went on the board. He could have done the clear hammer. But, everybody makes their own choices, and Jeff had that hide, and Jeff's a really good player, so he executed it, and he had that hide. Oh, my gosh, a kitchen. Jeff was in the way of me seeing that. That's wild. That's really rough. So, Jeff's going to try to block that up. Interesting enough, so this tournament has been a double elimination round, and I don't remember if Jeff mentioned in the beginning, but if Jeff wins, he wins it all. If Jeff loses, Paul, that's his first time losing, so they play another game because it's a double elimination bracket. So if Jeff loses, then they play again. But right now they still got 5 frames left, so we'll see what happens. But this is something I would want to block up, and also, interesting. So Jeff's going on the other side. Part of why he's doing that is sometimes blocking that, you're actually leaving yourself in a vulnerable position. But interesting enough, you can't really see, but Jeff's shaking his head because, he's probably thinking about all the ways that Paul could mess with this. Like, he's going to try to kitchen and score a point on this. Yeah, here he goes. No, he knocked it, and it looks like it's still in. Looks like 2. So, interesting enough, that's not at all what Paul wanted, but it happened, and Jeff's looking at, what can I do here? He's probably going to block it up. Because at this point, a high, let's see, he puts up a Tampa that's not too high, so it creates a block on the other side. Like, you're just blocking it up. And then you got 18 points, and Paul's trying to get that back. Oh, interesting. So that's a little high. I don't think Paul's going to want to try high behind that right now. I think he's going to go for knocking out his -10. But that 8 is still pretty hidden. So even if Paul goes for the -10 to get it out of there, he could then turn around and try to hide behind that top 10. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. That almost, that was kitchen speed. But he knocked out the 8. Now he's leaving. You know, this is really interesting because Jeff has that tip of the 10 up there. Paul could hide on the other side. But he's also got that negative 10, so Jeff's probably thinking block it up. I wouldn't doubt that he's going to go for like another 8. But then Paul could just score on the other side and hide behind it, but then he could just score another point on the other side. So let's see. Okay, so he went for the block, and he did a little flying away motion, so I don't know if that's what he wanted. You know, this shuffleboard game, it's really fun and tough, but interesting. So it looks like Paul has enough room to try to clear this out, and he's going to go for it. Yeah, beautiful. That's so good. Beautiful clear. All right. So at this point, Jeff just wants to score. That was a crazy frame, a lot going on. But at the end, it comes down to just scoring your hammer. Can he do it? Yeah, beautiful 8. Wow, so Jeff's now up. You know, it's going to be 35-13. You know, knowing you only have 4 frames left, it's not impossible, but that's not, you know, that's a tough spot to be in. If I was down by that much, I definitely would be going on the board. We're not, you know, one of the spots that I like to go is actually, and feel free, who's ever listening, use this against me, but, you know, a funny spot to go is between the 8s on the 8 line, like that middle 8. Sometimes we're not even playing there, so people try to clear it, and then they stick it, and then you try to, like, basically kitchen that and score a point. That's a fun one. Or you just go on the board with, you know, deep 7s and just hope people stick. And notice how Paul's, you know, going across the board. He scored on the right side. Now he's going to the left side. Really good players are going to move it all around, hoping that you mess up. So Jeff cleared that out. He left that, but you can't do too much with that. So that looked like, okay, so that's what I was talking about, that center, putting in the 8, like, center line. Great shot to try. People are often going to mess it up. Let's see if Jeff can clear it out. All right, cleared it out. It's not guaranteed, but it's a great one to put up if you're trying to vary the shots in the court. All right, so at this point, Paul's going to go for, I assume, like a high 7, high 10. Yeah, he was aiming for that, high 10. And, you know, a lot of times Paul makes shots like that. Today it's just a matter of inch. It's a matter of an inch. All right, so Jeff's going to go for the hammer. He's going to go for it. He's looking at the bottom. Just make sure nothing's wrong with it. Oh, yeah, that hit the line. He's still up by quite a bit. All right, so 13:35, 3 frames left. You know, even when you're in the spot where you're winning at this point, you still can't get comfortable. Really good players can come back. I've had players, you know, in interesting games where they can play a really interesting game and score 25 points. You can get tired at this point. Maybe just like think like, oh, it's fine. I just got to hold this lead. And then like the craziest things happening. So Jeff's throwing off. He's holding that. He doesn't want to give Paul anything because he wants to protect those points. All right, Paul went on the board. It's not in right now, but he's leaving it there for hoping Jeff will stick it and stay. Oh, and he missed it. So Paul's definitely going to try to split this into 2 points. That's the goal here. How can I make this into 2? This court isn't easy, so easier said than done. I'm just going to split this. Easier said than done. But ideally, you know, he comes... let's see how he shoots it. Yeah, you hit it on the side and then you score 2. Okay, 1 is good. There's a good 7 in there. And that's a tough shot. So, you know, Jeff's shaking his head back and forth thinking about the shot, but I would, you know, I'm not playing today, but I would go from the outside and try to drift it in and hit that point out. But I'm surprised he's not going all the way from the outside, considering he likes to play from the outside. Oh, wow. So he cleared it out anyways and kept that 7. I don't know if you can hear people behind me, but they're going, skill shot! Skill shot. That was a really good shot. So Paul's probably going to try to hit this one into that one and kitchen it. Let's see what he does. Yeah, see that slow? Slow enough to... Oh, no, Paul! Oh, wow. So that's 3 point. He has the -10, the 8, and then Jeff has the 7. That is not what Paul wanted. He wanted the 8 to hit Jeff's and kitchen his 7 into the -10. So interesting enough here, you know, you still want to get rid of Paul's 8. So I'd almost want to hit it and then let's see what he does. Oh, so he just blocked it up. Jeff's thinking, I'm up high enough. My 7 and 8 kind of break even on that. Paul's in the -10, so he's just protecting points at this point and not giving Paul something to mess with. Because if he left that open, or maybe he replaced the 8 or left that 7 open, he could try to hit it and then try to kitchen Jeff and also clear out his kitchen. There's a lot he could do with that. So right now he's thinking about all his options. What can I do here? How can I recover? And here at the Palms, you know, you're allowed to go down and look at it. Try not to take too much time, obviously. We like to, you know, respect time here, but you can go down and take a look and think it through. Can I clear it out easily? Do I have enough room? If I hit it straight on, is it going to stay in? There's a lot that you're thinking about, but, you know, is Paul even trying to go for Jeff's at this point? It may look like it. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, my gosh. Wow. Oh, that's so good. That was a skill shot, my friends. Wow, that was so good. So left in the 8. Paul got 8 out of that. That was a wild shot. That was so good. That is skill. I don't know if you could hear, but there's a handful of people watching the game, and they just erupted in cheers. And oh my gosh, crazy shot. All right. So it's now 21-35. You know, that's enough to get you back in the game. That's only, you know, we got 14 points. And still with 2 frames left, that's doable. So Jeff threw it off. He's not giving Paul anything to play with again. Paul's going for a point. That's in. That's a good 8. just concentrating here. He just wants to clear that out, leave nothing for Paul to be able to make use of. Wow, still thinking about that shot Paul made. So good. All right, that one's not in, but still, Jeff wants to clear this to get it out. He's up, so he doesn't want to leave anything on the board. And he did, so... all right, they're running down to clear that out. So let's see if Paul can do his magic. He's going to try to kitchen this. He left his in, but not fast enough, and also went off to the side, so that 7 is good. He's got a 7 on there. Yeah, interesting enough, even if Jeff clears this off, he's leaving himself point advantage. You know, if, say Jeff clears this, and then Paul scores his hammer. There's a good enough point difference, but it still doesn't feel comfortable going into the final round. But if he leaves something, Paul might try to kitchen it. So he cleared it off. He cleared it off. Right now, it looks like I would think that Paul's just going to go for a point and then try to go in the last frame trying to make up for it, even though it's not his hammer. Ah, no! He needed that. He needed that. So, a little part of me wanted him to make that to make the last frame really, really fun. But it's still going to be a fun frame. It's still 14 points. Anything can happen. It just would have been more interesting if it was a, you know, that would have been a 6-point frame difference. So that's a matter of 1 point being scored. All right, Paul's going on the board. At this point, he's playing kitchen bait. Because 14 points, you have to have a 2-point score, and it's likely that a kitchen and a score is going to make up for that. All right, Jeff left something on the board. He's not happy about that. So this is now Paul's time to try to kitchen that. So let's see what happens here. Wow, so that 7's still in. Interesting enough, sometimes when you're up like this, you're like, I don't even want that. I just want that to be off the board. Because if he protects that, Paul's still got that middle one to play with. Now, you can see Jeff counting. He's thinking, how many points and possibilities does Paul have to... what are the point differences here? Does it even matter if I, clear this out, clear his out? At this point in the game, it's all about math and how many points you're able to score. So he chose to clear his zone out because it was a risk for Paul to kitchen and score a point off of. Right now, that's why we saw Jeff doing that counting. So say Paul splits this. If Jeff clears one, he'd have to score another point. That's pretty much what Jeff was doing, counting. Ooh. So close. He was going to split that. He got the 7. Jeff's probably going to try to clear this out. All right. I'm guessing Jeff's going to try to clear one or both out. But if you try to clear both out, you might end up sticking your own there. Yeah, he's thinking it through. Let's see. Also, so say Jeff just clears out that middle line. Paul would need to score an 8 and keep both scores on to win. Another 7 to tie, assuming Jeff doesn't knock any off. So let's see. So he chose to clear it off. Paul's chance is to split this. He gets a second chance at it, and then Jeff would need to miss clearing one of those off. Or, not catching himself. So let's see. If he doesn't make it, Jeff will probably just throw off and game over. Yeah, that's so tough. So tough. So he didn't make it. Jeff's gonna... Oh, he's going for the 10. Cherry. A lot of us play that way. Congratulations to Jeff Zev. He just won. Cheers to the Golden Tangs. As you saw in that last stream, a lot of us at the very end, it's a very fun thing. We like to go for the 10, the cherry. It's just sometimes when you make it, it's just super fun. And, that's pretty much it. But end of the game, Jeff's have won, so he wins this bracket. And, until next time, thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you in our next game. Thank you. Bye.